Just in case you were wondering, I'm not dead. I've been a little busy the past several months with my latest mistake. It's quite a big mistake this time. Quite a bit bigger than a car, as a matter of fact, because what I did was I bought a house. And with that house came some land. And on that land sits the new aging shop. Maybe not the best name for it. And as you can't see, there are no lights in here. The previous owner ripped them all out and took them with him because greed, I guess. And as a matter of fact, until 2 days ago, there wasn't even any power out here. And now we're in a different part of the shop where, as you can still see, there are no lights. Or at least there were no lights until this morning. I didn't really know what I was getting into with the purchase of this property. The house is fine. I'm pointing out, you can't see it. There's nothing wrong with that. The real problem is this shop. Now, this is partly due to my obliviousness, but it's also partly due to the sellers who conveniently lost the keys during both inspection day and house showing day. In fact, the only reason I saw inside this shop at all during the house showing was because I had to jimmy the lock to get in on a real estate showing. Anyway, I'm not mad. It just means that I have a ton more work to do in this shop than I initially thought. What this all means is I have one extra project I was not planning on having, and it just happens to be the container for all the other projects I was planning. But now that you know what this place is, get ready for the most disappointing shop tour of your life. And by shop tour, I mean disaster area tour, because it's all very much a work in progress and it's quite a mess.
This is the new building. It's actually 3 different buildings conjoined together in a slightly odd configuration. And before you ask, no, the Saab isn't mine, I'm just storing it for someone else. This is the largest building, and it also happens to be the newest. I'm going to use this building for storage and basically nothing else. Its most notable feature is the ceiling insulation that's trying its hardest to be floor insulation. And before you ask me any questions, no, the Super isn't mine, I'm just storing it for someone else. And don't worry, the Trabant is just hiding away in the background, it's still there. This is the second building. It's oddly long and just kind of sticks out in front of the main building. Its most notable feature is that it's a paint booth. It has a sucky fan on one end and a filtered air intake on the other end for cross ventilation, like a real paint booth does. Heck, the paint booth fan even works. I don't have any car painting tools or skill right now, but that's definitely something I'm going to try in the future. It would be a crime to have a paint booth and not use it. Or at least not attempt to use it. This is the main building. This will be where all the work gets done. Or put off. This is the building with the water, sewage, main electricals, and wood stove, which is important because it's freezing outside. This building's most notable feature
is this pit. What was this used for? It just has this enormous L-shaped pit in the floor. Now you might think, well, obviously that's a mechanic's pit. You get in there and you're underneath the car to work on it. But it's only 4 feet deep. That's not very useful unless you're a child or a little person. If you think you know what this pit was used for, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. The best theory I've heard so far is that it was used for an alignment rack. You have a car drive out onto a platform that sits right about here, and the car is at perfect working height for adjustment of the wheels and things. But that's the only theory I've heard so far, and it doesn't explain the weird L shape. What's that section over there for? Regardless, I have no use for this pit, and I'm probably just going to continue to ignore it and throw trash in it until I can afford to fill it with sand and concrete. I still have quite a bit of work left to do in this shop before it's very operational, but I've done quite a bit of work already. For instance, I finished these shop lights this morning. I had an electrician come and replace both main breaker panels as well as a new meter box. I installed a wood stove so I wouldn't freeze to death while I'm working out here. I had the lift moved from my old house and installed in the new place, but there was a problem with that because the concrete under one of the posts was too thin, so I had to jackhammer out a 4x4 foot square pad of concrete, dig it out a little bit more, and then fill it in with about a foot deep concrete pad. I think it's a foot deep, I just estimated. It doesn't look very good in the finished product, but it's firmly anchored now and it's not going anywhere, and hopefully a truck won't fall on me when it's up on the lift.
That's the work done. Now here's a small sampling of all the work I have left to do.
This nest area over here is where I plan to put the workbench. What's there now is a bunch of trash, 2 toilets, and a sink. This disgusting excuse for an office will not be staying. Both rooms are nasty and waterlogged from years of emptiness, but both have sewage and water lines. This will be the bathroom when I get around to tearing down both these rooms, building a new room, plumbing all the stuff, and fixing the water leak that's under the concrete. It shouldn't take more than a year. Both of these overhead doors need replacing. They're suffering from a severe case of things running into them. itis. They're both dented heavily and even stabbed in places. Neither one of them seals out the rain and they're not insulated. They're both just trash and need replacing. I think you get the idea by now. This place needs a little bit of work like a triple bypass is a little bit of surgery. I'll get it all done eventually. All it takes is time and money. Lots of money. And lots of time. Unfortunately, this whole shop project has put a bit of a hold on the other stuff I was ready to do. Before the move, I had already started gathering parts for a 2-barrel carb conversion on the Saab. I did a bunch of work on the Wigo. I bought a whole new car that you haven't even seen yet, and I filmed 3 videos that I have yet to edit. I'd like to start cranking out new content at some point, but I want to make no promises as to when that may start happening, because I've got a lot of work to do here. I'd also like to start putting out weekly content whenever I start up again, but I want to make no promises for that either, because I haven't even gotten around to unpacking all of these boxes full of garagey things from the move. This new shop is extremely exciting because it's the start of a whole slew of projects and adventures just waiting to be had, but unfortunately it's going to take a lot of time to turn all of this potential into functional reality. So please forgive me for my videological hiatus that I've been taking and probably will take for several more weeks. If you would like to support Aging Wheels and all the things I'm doing, I have merchandise. The links are available in the description below or this little bubbly thingy over here in the corner. If you'd like to see a finished shop tour whenever that gets done, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I won't make one. This isn't a vlog channel after all. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again whenever I see you again.